Alright guys, got a 20-minute game on the board against an opponent rated 778. This is a 16-0 for me, and that's a very odd opening. So he started with e4, I played the French, and now h3, which is peculiar. Okay, I'm going to play c6 and try and play d5 and swap off pawns in the middle. Try and get some central pawn advantage. Also opens up another line for my queen. So my queen's quite happy now. Alright, let's go for the middle, for the center of the board. If we trade, that's good for me. Alright, now, queen's come out to here. That could be a target. She's on a light square. What do I want to do here? I think develop the knight makes sense. If the pawn pushes, I can always drop the knight back here. It's a little bit awkward, but it's not unknown in the French. Can still get my dark squared bishop out and castle. This is a very unusual way to start. Okay, again I can take in the middle and swap off, but very odd, all of this now. This is what you get when you play lower rated players. I can go here. If the pawn pushes, I can always take. It's an idea. I can bring my bishop out here, getting ready to castle again. If he wants to push a pawn, he can do. Just retreat my knight. Unusual start for sure. I'll get my queen in line with my bishop as well and look down this diagonal here. Very odd game. There's my opponent from Latvia. He's not doing a great job of development so far. He's made 3 pawn moves and brought the queen out, which is irregular. How about knight to here as well? That's a thought. Okay. So I think knight back here, looking at the pawn. I can also castle. I'm attacking this pawn. And he can't defend it with a pawn because his pieces are blocking. And he can't defend it with the knight. And he can't defend it with his bishop because that's blocked in as well. So the only piece I think that can defend that pawn is the queen by moving here or here or here. I can always move my queen to there and add a second attacker. As long as he doesn't move to this square, he can always bring out another pawn as well. You do get some funky positions, don't you? You play lower rated players. Okay, I'm going to take the pawn. Also defends this. So I'm attacking the queen, I'm attacking that bishop. Okay, now if I take the bishop, it comes with check. And the only piece I can capture is the c pawn, thereby doubling and isolating his pawns. And I think castle. Oof! He's moved out of check. Okay, well I'm going to grab a bishop while I'm there. Knight takes or king takes? Knight takes. Alright, now. Maybe queen out to here, looking at this pawn. I'm up a piece and a pawn now, so it's looking quite good. Let's go for the offensive. I think rook f1 would make sense. I should also think about castling. Okay, he's not defended the pawn the second time. So this is basic counting of attackers and defenders. Can't see a big problem with that move, so let's grab another pawn. Okay, and remove the queen. So now I'm +5. I have 2 bishops and a knight. He's got 2 knights, so I'm up a minor piece, and I have the bishop pair, and I've got F and E pawns that my opponent doesn't have. Right, now my issue right now is my light squared bishop that's currently locked in. This knight doesn't have many options at all. So maybe push in the centre now, considering that my opponent hasn't castled and he's been forced to move his king. So I think let's get the king castled first, being attacked by kittens at the same time, which never helps. But I can definitely think about pushing pawns forward now. Release this light squared bishop somehow. Okay, it's not too worrying. Let's drop back to here. Locks this pawn off and also prevents the advance of that pawn because I can capture. Thinking e5 looks good. Maybe push this pawn somehow. How about here and put the bishop on here? Yep. Put the bishop here. Means I've got a knight and a rook in line. He can block with a pawn. Okay. Let's develop this knight. I might put the knight here. He can't advance because I take. Have to work hard for 0 points. Okay. Now if I come here and he pushes, I can take. So let's unleash the bish. I've got a knight and a rook in line. He can advance this pawn. He can advance this pawn as well. In which case we do some trades. Trades are always good for me because I'm up in material. My brain's not working terribly well today. I didn't sleep too well, so that's why I'm taking a lower rated game. So if he doesn't want to trade, so I've got a bunch of pawns on light squares here. So right now my dark squared bishop is the better piece, guarding these squares as well. So what's he going to do? Okay, he's thrown a pawn out. Okay, I'm just going to trade off. It's all good. This pawn's undefended, that knight's undefended, so I could always drop my bishop back here. Now the knight is moved and it's defending that pawn, so very important to identify what changes on each move. I could push here, got 2 attackers. Let's do that. Most of his stuff is on light squares now. All his pieces are. He's just got a few pawns on dark squares, so that limits the scope of my bishop somewhat. Alright, now I think let's retreat the bishop back to here and think about trading some stuff off. So what am I up? A bishop and 2 pawns right now. Still. But definitely clearing the board makes sense for me because I've got a bishop. My opponent doesn't have a bishop. So that's a long range, high speed piece that he doesn't have. Okay, now I've got this as an idea. Let's line up a rook with the king. Which rook? Let's do this rook. Just because he's got a rook lined up here, I'd rather keep that rook there for now. So if I take here, for example, this pawn will be pinned and can't recapture. If I take there, he takes. I can't take back with the bishop because he's got rook takes. kittens everywhere. Right, what's he done? He's not done anything. Hey, Morgan, come here. And say hello to everybody. Got knight here and in. It's an idea. He's having a good think though. Give me a switch up. This is Morgan. Got 2 kittens for my birthday yesterday. Just saying hello to Woody. If you can see Woody on the camera. Oh, you're awake now, are you? Your brother's down there as well. All right, he's taken. He's taken. Okay, so we have to take that with the pawn. Definitely opening things up now. And now he's attacking my pawn. So I'm going to capture here. He might take that with the knight, in which case I think bishop here looks all right. Defends the pawn. Oh, no, he's also attacking my knight. So I've got to do something about that. Okay, what have we got? Can't put my knight there. Could put my knight here and try and trade off. Could put my knight here. Then he can take the pawn. I'd like to put my knight on there, but that's 4 jumps away. Okay, let's go here. Oh no, then my bishop's undefended as well. Right, okay, I'm going to have to defend the knight. What do you think, Morgan? Have a look. What do you reckon? He's going to take my pawn. What do you think, Woody? Woody's just interested in the cat. He should take the pawn. It's a free pawn. Then he's got a passed pawn here. Oh, interesting. But I've got a free pawn now. I can attack his rook. No, but then that hangs the bishop. Bishop here hits the knight and defends the pawn. That looks clever. See, if I take the knight, the pawn can't recapture because it will be pinned by the rook. Okay. Now, what I'd love to do is put my knight there. So I'm going to take this pawn. But then is he just going to take mine? I do have a check as well. Should we throw in a check? Let's throw in a check. Can't go there, can't go there. Can't stay where he is. He's got 1, 2, not there. 1, 2, 3, 4 options. I'm going to have a sleep here. Have a sleep here. Alright, okay. So I can take the knight if I want. I can just improve my knight to here. That pawn's defended by the bishop. I'm not worried about the rook coming onto the back. So I think this looks pretty sensible. I'm attacking this pawn a second time now. What are you doing? Get off, that's new, that is. Got that for my birthday too. Stop it. There's your brother tearing the house up now. Goodness me. I'm trying to make a serious video here. Okay, I can attack the rook. Doesn't really make much sense. I can trade off the knight for the bishop, but my bishop's a better piece than that knight. Attack the rook. Not really any logic to that. Could come here and attack the pawn. Then that blocks the bishop's defense of this pawn, you see. Could put my bishop here. Then he might push, but then knight takes. Let's do that. Let's try that. Just for laughs. We've got to be very careful. Doesn't matter who you're playing, got to respect your opponent. He pushes the pawn, I can take with the knight. Ooh. Okay, I can come here and try and trade knights off. Still complex though. At least I've broken the link between his rooks, and that really weakens his rooks. Connected rooks are far more powerful than the sum of their parts. It's definitely a funky position. If I take, I've got a free pawn, which is nice. And then maybe another one, which is nice. Okay, trade. Okay, he can't come on the back rank. He can't take there because bishop takes. He can't take here. But I can't take that pawn because he's got checkmate. No, he hasn't. I can trade, can block with the rook. Well, but I've got to be very careful. Let's say I take the pawn, right? And he comes here. And I block. He takes that bishop. I can't recapture. I don't think. Okay. Right, I'm just going to give myself an escape square. All sensible. Now I can take the pawn. Okay. So she slept. She and her brother have slept for hours. Okay, now I think I can just take the pawn. Might as well take it with my pawn. Moves it up one rank, doesn't it? So one step closer to the goal. Could even put both rooks behind it. What are you doing? What are you doing? Hello. Okay. Not sure what the purpose of that move is. I'm just going to push the pawn up. His rooks are now severely dislocated. Get off! Wee. Trouble. Alright. I could throw in a check here as well. Let's do that for laughs. Can't go on these dark squares because of my bishop. Can't stay there. Can't go there. Ow. Okay. Now another check. He can't go there. He's only got one move here. Then I think I can push the pawn. Can I? I think I can. Push the pawn, bishop's protected. He's got one check, but then he loses a rook. King can't come here or here. King's only got one square, actually. So queen there. King's going to end up here. Oof, he's only gone and taken, hasn't he? Right, let's get a queen. He's got to go here. And now, that's a discovered check by the rook. Can't go there, I think he's only got one square. And I've got another rook here, or I can just take this one. It's probably sensible. Well, this, you can't block that. So again, he's only got two squares he can go to. Almost ladder mating him here. Okay, now. Ooh. Check there, what's he got? Or do I just simplify things? What's the right way to finish this off? Queen here. Can't go there, there, or there, or there. He's got to go back here. Yep. And then that will be mate, I think. It will. There you go, that's a nice ladder mate. Interesting one. See if he wants a rematch. You think he wants a rematch? Oh, she's having a clean now. No rematch. Right, good game, good game. Very weird one. So what did my opponent do wrong? Well, move 2, moving a pawn on the edge of the board, no reason for that whatsoever. He's much better off trying to control the center. Okay, so now I'm competing for the center. He doesn't take, which is fine, but now he moves his queen out. Again, quite irregular. I develop a piece, he moves another pawn. So he's definitely losing time in development here. I develop another piece, he throws in an attack, and I move, but now I'm getting ready to castle and he never does, you see. This just drops, so he failed to spot that when my knight moved it was attacking this. Okay, so now that's a fork on queen and bishop. I take the bishop and he fails to recapture the piece. He sees he's in check, but he doesn't see that he can capture the attacking piece. He moves the king instead and loses his other bishop. So now he's bishopless. And I think here king takes is a better move than undeveloping the knight. So now my queen flies out. I've got 2 attackers. Basic issue of counting attackers and defenders. He's got 1 defender, which is his queen, and he doesn't defend. So I go in and we trade queens. Right, so you're down in material. Okay, he's -5 now. He shouldn't really be looking for trades. Okay, so that's another basic principle. I castle my king, get to safety. Not hugely important now the queens are off the board, but I want to keep things simple. I don't want to mess up, because I stand to lose 16 points, don't I, Morgan, if I do. Okay, another pawn move. He's not helping his rook to get out here. And now he starts to press up. I'm developing my pieces. I've now completed development. This is move 17. And now he strikes out for the center. I'll move 18. I trade off and simplify. Maybe I should have just swapped off some pawns here, but line up the rook with a king. And we have some fun and games. Now here he's got a hanging pawn, which he really should have taken. I mean, his only real chance of winning the game is to promote the A pawn here. So I think he should have captured there. Now I defend my knight, because I realised that neither of these pieces was protected. Again, he could take the pawn. Again, he doesn't take the pawn. So now I come up, attack his knight, and save one of my undefended pieces. It's now defended twice. And throw in a check. Improve my knight, put my knight on an outpost where it's defended by a pawn and can't be dislodged by a pawn. So he pushes, that's a decent move. And now I break the connection between his rooks, which is important. He comes in kind of attacking the pawn. Now he's got 2 attackers on that pawn. And now I have the opportunity to trade. We trade off. Escape square for the king, safety first, and then we'd simply go in for the attack. Okay, so now it's all checks, I think. Check, check, and checkmate, and game over. So, all good fun. Even with a semi-functioning brain and an annoying cat, we managed to secure the win. So, there you go. Thank you for watching. Hope you picked up 1 or 2 things, and I'll see you later.